Good morning. My name is Dan. I'm being accompanied here today by my good friends Jeremy and Kirk. First, we'd like to thank everyone for being here today to celebrate the life of Staff Sergeant Jesse Sherrill, or Biggs, as he was known to his closest friends. We are honored to have been asked by the Jesse's family to speak here today to portray his true character as we knew it. There are no words to describe what a void Jesse leaves behind. He was a proud trooper, an amazing dad and husband, a loving son and brother, a great coach, and even a better friend. He was without a doubt the best man we have ever known, and it was an honor to be his friend for over 30 years. Though we did not share the same DNA, we were family in every way that mattered. Today is a hard day for all of us. We are here because Jesse touched our lives in some way. He was humble, private, and never one to want attention or accolades. I'm pretty sure he's wondering why all this fuss is about him, even though we know he deserves every honor given to him and more. I'm certain of two things. First, that Jesse would not have wanted us here mourning his loss, but rather celebrating his life. Remembering how he lived, sharing his happiest memories of the times we spent together. Second, that he is still here with us in spirit. And even though we are devastated that he is gone, we feel a bit safer knowing that he's up there and on our side.
There are many listening, watching, and present here today that knew this remarkable man in different ways. Considering this, we'd like to take you through an appreciated journey and walk you through the journey of Jesse looking through the lens of a best friend. Our families lived in the same town before we were both born. Jesse and I first became acquainted in kindergarten. I have vague memories of playing Tonka trucks in front of his dad and mom's garage in Barrington. And at one point, I remember feeling homesick. And I looked over to Jesse and I said, I want to go home. Jesse looked at me and said, why do you want to go home, Jeremy? Everything is good. We're okay here. This comforting characteristic will live on in this journey as we illustrate it a little more. We attended different schools up until the 4th grade. At this time, we became closer comrades as we were teammates as well as competitors in many local sports. As you can tell, one sport in particular was baseball. All through Bambino baseball, age 9 through 12, we were fierce competitors, have played on different teams. Jesse played for a local team called Christmas Dove, coached by his dad, Rick Sherrill. Let me tell you, having a coach like Rick and a player like Jesse was a tall order to compete against every stinking year. That kid was a hell of a baseball player and a competitor. And he was coached by the best, his dad. Jesse always spoke about getting off the bus from school with his brother Corey, and both being super excited, seeing their dad waiting there at the end of the driveway with his glove in his hand. and then going right to the fields until dark. Jeannie probably wasn't pumped about it, but they had fun, and he was excited. Looking back, I feel like this shaped Jesse's character. I was envious. Jesse lived with the upbringing and coaching from his parents that you are a product of your environment and that you need to lead by example. Shall we say that apple did not fall far from the tree? That kid was good. And his legacy lives on through his kids, in and off the baseball field, on and off the dance stage. Moving on in the journey, at the Babe Ruth level, we were on the same team. Thank God. Thank God. I mean, I was tired of competing with the best. Through Babe Ruth, we bonded. And specifically at this time is when I realized that Jesse's character was one that I wanted to follow and imitate. He was massively dedicated, wholeheartedly respected, and was our top player, gave his all in and off the field. One instance was when he actually swung at a pitch so hard that he fractured his hip. This, in my view, showed Jesse's desire to work hard and excel at everything he did without hesitation. He actually made it to first base with a fractured hip before falling. Further into the journey of Jesse's childhood, we got the opportunity to play football together, and we bonded like none other. Biggs, Franny, Stormer, Roger, AKA Dirty, and myself, Stars, developed an unbreakable bond that we, like all of you, would take a bullet for each other. For example, Biggs even agreed to take Franny to the prom. But Franny required Biggs to drive. So some of you might be wondering why we call him Biggs. As I touched on earlier, he was a big, strong individual, solid, and the name worked itself into our friendship crew. Eventually, the name morphed into Trooper Biggs, for obvious reasons. Following one late night, a few of us were all bantering and fooling around and having fun. We noticed his hair color starting to change a little bit earlier on as well. That night, the name Silver Fox was born, thanks to Franny. During these high school years, Jesse played hockey, football, excelled academically. He attended Westfield State College, which launched his career in law enforcement. He began his career in the Hooksett Police Department in 2001, before being hired by the state police in 2002. Looking back, he always wanted to be a trooper.
Though Jesse loved his job as a state trooper and served with pride, his greatest accomplishments were his children and his beautiful life he built with his wife, Nicole. Nicole and Jesse met in 2003 while Jesse was working up in Colebrook. No surprise to those who knew him, they met at the gym. From the very beginning, we knew they were a match made in heaven. They complemented one another in every way and brought out the best in each other. He was your rock, and you were his. If that wasn't enough, she even knew how to ride a snowmobile. Not just any snowmobile, but a Skidoo. And he used to always joke with all of us all the time and said how she could outride us. That's still to be debatable. Nicole, you will always be Jesse's girl. Peyton, Quinn, you are without a doubt your father's greatest loves. He cherished the time you spent together, whether watching dance shows with Peyton or hitting baseballs with Quinn. Nothing made him happier than being with you. We spoke almost daily. Not a day went by when he wasn't telling me about Peyton's dance, how proud he was of how hard you worked, and what an amazing person you were growing up to be. Quinn, you are his mini-me, his best friend. He was always so proud of how hard you worked to be the best you could be. How you put your all into everything you do. Though none of what has happened makes sense to us left behind, always remember how much your dad loves you. He left behind an incredible legacy. While none of us could ever fill his shoes, please know you are not alone. Your dad will always be watching over you, and like it or not, you're stuck with us too. Despite his busy schedule, he always found time to help others. He spent countless hours coaching baseball for the Seacoast Pirates, and if that was not enough, he would leave our practices and head to Barrington to help coach for the Barrington Youth Association. He touched the lives of so many young players and their families, not with just his knowledge of the baseball game, but with his patience, his dedication, and the joy he found with his family. He was incredibly selfless, always more concerned with helping others over helping himself. He hated asking for help, but he was the guy you knew you could always count on. Whether you needed your roof shingled, a ride for your kid, or someone to lift you up when life got hard. Someone to remind you that your daily coffee was a bad habit. And just so everybody knows, I did not have any coffee today. Jesse led by example, was highly respected at both work and in the community, and taught us all how to be better people. Jesse and I shared many similarities. I think it's part of why we got along so well, and in over 30 years of friendship, I can never recall a time we ever argued. Growing up, his mom, Jeannie, used to call us her zebras. With us, everything was black and white, There was no gray. Loyal, driven, always trying to do better, be better, and stubborn to the core. He strove for excellence and had high expectations of himself and those around him. If you need examples of that, just ask Corey and Rick about the times when we spent building their camp up in Pittsburgh. Over the years, we shared so many good times: baseball, fishing, snowmobiling, and probably some more snowmobiling, cleaning up after Jeremy, getting stranded on Rangeley Lake in negative 99-degree weather. Jesse's dad, Rick, said we were idiots for going out in the first place, which we were, but off the two stubborn zebras went anyway. His point was confirmed shortly after that when my sled broke down. Jesse gave a chuckle, looked at me, and said, "That's what you get for riding an Arctic Cat and not a Skidoo." Luckily, we were rescued by an older couple in their minivan. Jesse and I were enjoying a little cat nap on the way back to Pittsburgh when thump, 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 there goes the tire. We looked at each other and said a few choice words, and of course, we decided we couldn't let this old guy get out in the freezing cold to change it. So out we went. At least by then, the temperature was a balmy negative 50. Luckily, as we got older, we learned to make better decisions, though our wives and families may disagree with that. I did learn one very important lesson that day, that no matter what life threw at me, there was no better man to have by my side. To his family, Nicole, Peyton, Quinn, Rick, Corey, Jeannie, Megan, there are no words that we can say to ease your pain during these times. Just know, we love you. We love you. And are here for you always. Jesse, you will be missed beyond measure and never forgotten. Rest easy, my friend. We will take it from here.